Hi, welcome to class. All you need for today is comfy clothes that won't restrict your movement, a space that you can lie down on the floor. I've got a mat, but you can go straight on the floor if you want. I've also got a folded up blanket. You could use a folded towel, or for what we're doing, this is just optional. You can have it there if you like. So let's start lying down on your back with your knees bent. Have the soles of your feet flat on the floor. And if you did get a folded blanket or towel, you could always put that underneath the back of your head if you like. Rest your hands on your lower belly. So maybe about belly button height or a little bit lower. And then first of all, I just want you to notice whether or not you can feel your breathing, making your belly move underneath your hands. And once you've got a sense of that, start to make your breathing just very slightly more slow, slightly more deliberate than just your normal, not thinking about it breath. While you're doing that, also start to notice that some parts of your back touch the floor and some parts don't. So if we start down by your bum, feel perhaps the back of your pelvis resting on the floor. For some of you, it might feel like your tailbone presses into the floor. For other people, it won't feel like that. And then still just breathe in slowly from the back of your pelvis. Slide your attention up your back and feel there's that area around your lower back that slightly curves away from the floor. Continue that upwards journey. Feel your upper back, so the back of your ribs rest on the floor. Compare that to the back of your neck. And compare that to the back of your head. Then take your attention down again towards your lower back. And as you inhale, just slightly increase the curve of your lower back. So you make your lower back just slightly arch away from floor. Then as you exhale, flatten your lower back down into the floor. Inhale, increasing curve, lower back. Exhale, decreasing curve, lower back. And continue with that. So it's a very slight motion. It's starting to move your body in time with your breathing. So we're doing this, first of all, to get a sense that you can manipulate the curve in your lower back and you can choose to make it more pronounced or more flat. There will be times within this class where I'm asking you to either flatten your lower back or to do the opposite to try and create more inward curve. And it's not that just in your normal day-to-day life, you should be trying to do either of those things. But because our focus is lower body today, and lots of the muscles that operate around your hips, they attach into your pelvis. By changing the curve in your lower back, you're changing the position of your pelvis. And so when I ask you to either flatten or increase the curve in your lower back, it's because of the effect it will have lower down on your hips. Next time you end up flattening your lower back into the floor, pause like that. Keep breathing. And notice what you feel helping you create that shape. So do you feel stomach muscles switching on? You might feel your bum muscles firing up a little bit. And then relax that effort, let your natural curve return, just breathe normally. If you did have a blanket or a folded up towel, then lift your bum and slide the blanket underneath your bum and rest it back down on it. If you didn't, that's okay. You can do this with bum flat on the floor. Bring your left knee in towards your chest. Catch hold of it with your hands. And then send your other foot up towards the ceiling. Okay. And that top foot, you might maybe point and flex it a couple of times, perhaps draw some circles with your ankle. So your leg is staying pointing up, it's just your foot that's drawing the circles. So your top leg doesn't have to be straight, you're just sending it up to a position where you can hold it for a moment. If at any point we're doing something you need to take a break, that's okay, you just come down and then come back in when you're ready. So starting very slightly to begin with, let's flex your foot, and by that I mean draw your toes towards your shin, press up through your heel, and send your top leg a little bit away from you. And then point your toes and bring it back up to where you started. Flex your foot, send heel away from you. Point your toes, bring leg back up to where it started. And then let's start to perhaps breathe in time with that. So next time you inhale, flex your foot, send leg away from you. As you exhale, point your toes, sweep leg back up. Great, and you could keep doing this and just little motions in the air as we're doing, or you could start to increase the range of motion. So you might perhaps lower your leg a little bit further, and then point toes, bring it back up. So what I don't want you to feel when you're doing this is like when you lower your leg, it feels like it's kind of pulling you in your back, or it feels like it creates a big arch in your lower back. If you feel that, just don't take your leg quite so far. If it feels okay, you could take that leg all the way down until it almost brushes the floor before you sweep it back up. So as you're lowering your leg down, amongst other things, the stuff on the front of your right hip is slowly lengthening with control to lower your leg. And then as you're bringing it back up, that same stuff is contracting to bring leg back up. Next time you lower your leg down towards the floor, actually land that leg on the floor. So not the sole of your foot, your heel. Now that leg that's now on the floor, try and slide your heel away from you like your leg is being drawn longer. And with your hands, gently bring your top knee in towards you. If that feels like it gets a bit pinchy, you can take that leg more out to the side, or you could just not bring it in so far. And then remember that feeling when you were trying to flatten your back into the floor and you maybe felt your belly muscle switching on. See if just a little bit you could bring that in here, even as you're trying to stretch your bottom leg away from you. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, release your top knee, plant that foot on the floor, bend both knees up, feet flat. Then let's bring your other leg in. So right knee into chest, catch it with your hands. Send other foot up towards the ceiling. Yep, that leg can be as straight or as bent as you like. Point and flex what is now your top foot. So by pointing, I mean sending toes away from your shin towards ceiling. And by flexing, I mean drawing toes towards face and heel presses up. And then you could keep doing that, or you could draw some circles. If you feel like little noises, little cracking noises coming from your ankle, that's pretty normal. And then just like we were doing before, next time you end up with your foot flexed, so toes drawing towards your shin, pause like that. Take your leg a little bit away from you and then point your toes and bring it back up. Flex your foot, send leg away. Point toes, bring it back up. Maybe inhale as you send your leg away. Exhale, point toes, bring it back up. And you can just experiment with how far away you want to send your leg. So if it feels like this is super mild and you're not really doing very much, that's okay. This class is meant to be mild. If it feels like it's getting too hard work, then just don't take your legs so low. And then next time you lower your leg towards the floor, actually let your heel drop down to the floor. And imagine that leg is being drawn longer by some imaginary force. So as you inhale, you're reaching bottom leg longer. As you exhale, draw belly muscles in a little bit and maybe use your hands to bring your top knee just slightly more in towards you. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, release your top knee, both knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Okay. If you've got a blanket underneath your bum, lift your bum, slide the blanket out. And then let's shift up to hands and knees. Step your right foot forwards into a lunge. You could have your foot between or outside of your hands, whichever works. And you could have your hands flat on the floor if that feels comfy. You could be on your fingertips or you could be on your knuckles, whichever you prefer. Tuck your back toes under and straighten your back leg. Great. So front leg is going to stay just as it is. As you inhale, lower your back knee down almost towards the floor. As you exhale, re-straighten. Inhale, lower back knee towards floor. Exhale to straighten. Couple more times. Inhale, bend back knee. Exhale, pick it up. Great. Again, inhale, bend back knee. Exhale, pick it up. Hold there, inhale. Exhale, drop your back knee down. Step back to all fours. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Step your other foot forwards, either outside or between your hands, your preference. Tuck your back toes under, straighten back leg. Take a breath in here. Breath out, bend back knee down towards floor. Inhale to straighten it. Exhale to bend it. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. One more time. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Hold there. Keep breathing. Drop your back knee down to the floor. Step front foot back. Hands flat on the floor. Tuck your toes under. Push the floor away with your arms and start to send your hips up and back towards the downward facing dog. Try and resist the temptation to lock your legs straight and try and get your heels down to the floor. Instead, allow your heels to lift a little bit if that feels more comfy. Bend your knees and then try and send your tailbone more up and back. And we're going to do one more set of lunges. So you could either step your right foot forwards just from here, or you could drop your knees down to the floor and then step your foot forwards. Either way. Let's meet right foot forwards, back knee down on the floor. Come up onto your fingertips. Walk your hands back a little bit so your fingers are maybe more in line with your heel than with your toes. Your front leg doesn't have to go straight here. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, shift your weight back and come onto your front heel. Draw your toes towards your face. So you're just doing that as much as you need to feel a bit of a stretch down the back of your leg. As you inhale, re-bend front knee, foot flat. Exhale, shift weight back, come onto front heel. Inhale, bend front knee, foot flat. Exhale, shift your weight back. Great, one or two more times with that. If you're not shifting back very far, but you're getting a stretch in your leg, all good. If you're shifting back so far, your bum ends up on your heel, then instead of doing that, come up, lengthen your stride, and then try again. Next time you end up with your weight shifted back, you're feeling that stretch down the back of your leg, pause. Dig your front heel down into the floor, and with your heel, try and pull the floor towards you. So your front heel is digging down and pulling back. As you inhale, re-bend your front knee, plant your hands flat. Exhale, step back to all fours or downward facing dog, so your choice. And then from wherever you are, let's step your left foot forwards. Back knee down if it wasn't already. You might maybe lengthen your stride a little bit if there's space to slide your back knee back. Walk your fingertips back. Take a breath in, breath out, shift weight back, come onto front heel. Inhale, bend front knee, shift forwards. Exhale, shift weight back. Keep going with that. So you're just moving backwards and forwards in time with your breathing. So we're using just simple repetitive motions of your body as a way of getting you breathing slow and steady. With the idea being that breathing slow and steady for an extended period of time and taking your attention to your body for an extended period of time. When we come to be still towards the end of class, you might be able to be still a little bit easier than you could when you first tuned in. Next time you end up with your weight shifted back, just pause like that. Great. Press your front heel down into the floor. And with that heel, try and pull the floor towards you. As you inhale, re-bend front knee, plant hands flat on floor. Exhale, step back, all fours, so hands and knees. Okay. So your right leg's going to stay where it is. Step your left foot out to the side of you. So I'm going to turn sideways on. My left leg is straight out to the side. Have a look down. You probably want your foot about in line with your other knee, like no real biggie, but it might be that your foot's quite a long way back. If possible, try and shuffle it more forwards. Okay. If this is already giving you a stretch along the inside of that leg, then all good. You probably don't need to do anything else. Otherwise, what you could do is maybe slide that leg more out to the side. And then remember when we were arching and flattening your lower back on the floor? Now, imagine you're trying to bring more inward curve into your lower back. Take a breath in like that. As you breathe out, bring that leg back in, come back to all fours. And then let's send the other leg out to the side. Either just stay like that or shuffle it more out to the side. And then any hand position that works, so knuckles, fingertips, palms. Now imagine you're trying to increase the curve in your lower back, almost like you're trying to lift your tailbone up. Remember also when we were just breathing slowly, lying on your back, you're trying to breathe slow here. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, drag that leg back in. Come to all fours. Great. Tuck all 10 of your toes under. Send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Then keeping both your feet on the floor. As you inhale, bend one knee a bit more, press the other heel down towards the floor. Exhale, same thing, second side. Great. Inhale to bend one knee. Exhale to bend the other knee. Inhale, shift forwards to plank position. So shoulders travel to be maybe a bit behind, maybe over your wrists. And then as you exhale, lower down to lie on your front. Reach both arms back alongside you. Inhale, lift arms, legs, and chest away from the floor. Exhale, lower down and rest. Okay, great. Let's roll over to lie on your back again. Keeping your right leg on the floor, send your left foot up towards the ceiling. So similar to what we did before, but this time the other leg's on the floor. You might decide to just make your leg hold itself, or you might prefer to maybe with your hands catch hold of your leg and support it. So if you're using your hands and you're drawing your leg more towards you, that's going to tend to create more stretch down the back side of your leg. If you decide not to use your hands, it means that maybe the front side of your leg has to work a little bit harder to hold it up. So both of those are good options. You can just choose which one you prefer. And then keeping that leg up, now slowly straighten the other one along the floor. So it might get progressively more difficult to be holding your leg up when you straighten the bottom one. That's okay, that's normal. If you need to bend the top one a bit, you're welcome to do that. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, bend that top knee into your chest. Catch hold of it with your opposite hand. So it's left knee, right hand. Left arm can go by your side on the floor, out wide or overhead, your choice. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, guide your top knee across your body into a twist. And then feel where your hand is resting on your knee. And there's that gentle weight of hand pressing down against leg. With your leg, just a bit, press back up against your hand. So you might feel that maybe around the outside of your hip, just asking some stuff there to switch on a bit. Take an inhale. Exhale, come back up. Both knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And then let's send your other foot up towards the ceiling. So same thing again, you can ask your leg, you can just make your leg hold itself, or you can give some support with your hands, hold on around the back of your thigh, your preference. I'm going to go for not using my hands, but that doesn't mean you have to. So seeing if even through any effort or sensation this posture brings up for you, you can still breathe calmly. And then keep your top leg where it is. Straighten your other one along the floor. If you found that to do that, you needed to bend your top knee a little, that's okay, that's reasonable. Take a breath in where you are. As you breathe out, bend your top knee into your chest. Opposite hand on that knee. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, take your top knee across your body into a twist. With your knee, gently press up against the resistance of your hand. Take an inhale. As you exhale, come back up, untwist, both knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Then wiggle your feet a bit wider than hip width. Like your shins with the windscreen wipers on a car. As you inhale, let both knees fall towards one side. And then as you exhale, take them over to the other side. Inhale, knees go one way. Exhale, they go the other way. And just continue with that. So we've done some stuff to target the muscles on the fronts, backs, insides, and outsides of hips. And now lastly, as your legs are going side to side, your thigh bones are rotating around in your hip sockets. So as my legs go over to the right, my right leg is rotating outwards and my left leg rotates inwards. And then as I go to the left, the opposite happens. Next time your legs sway through center, pause there. Experiment whether it's comfortable for you to let your knees knock together. You might find that just very slightly turning your toes in and your heels out just a little bit, that encourages your knees to knock together more firmly. If you would be comfortable just being still like this for a few minutes, then you're in the right place. If you would prefer to maybe have your legs straight, or you could even roll over to lie on your front, that's a good option too. If you want to, you could close your eyes. If you don't, you can have them open, but instead of letting your eyes sort of wander around and take in your surroundings, see if you can have perhaps just gaze low. Arms are just somewhere they feel comfortable. Notice again that you can feel yourself breathing. And let's finish with a minute or two of just simply counting your breathing. So I'll count, but if my numbers are too fast or too slow for you, that's okay. You just go at your own pace and you use my numbers as a guide rather than feeling like you had to stick to them. So let's exhale together to begin. And then when you inhale, breathe in for 3 counts. So 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 3 counts. Exhale for 3. Inhale for 3. Exhale for 3. If you like that, keep doing it. When you've had enough, you can let it go. The body is still and relaxed. You're watching your breathing. And any thoughts that come up that aren't about what you're doing, just try and put them aside. And then whether you are still counting or not, start to let those numbers go. Breath just returns to its natural rhythm. And just when you're ready to, on an inhale, take a long, deep breath up into chest. Hold it in for a moment and then let it out. Next time you inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. As you exhale, take them all the way overhead. You might straighten your legs. Then next time you inhale, reach through arms, reach through legs, full body stretch. As you breathe out, bring arms back down by your side. Bend your knees, walk your feet in, hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. And then make your way up to sit. You could choose to sit cross-legged, or maybe sit on your heels, or sit on a chair. Decide if you prefer to finish class with your hands in your lap or with palms together. Either of those works nicely. And as you inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, drop your chin. Thank you very much.